Get to Kohl's and take an extra 25% off Adidas for the entire family. Plus, with an extra 15% off, get up to 50% off the Big One bedding. And save on Nike athletic shoes for kids. Plus, get Kohl's Cash. Plus, limited contact store drive-up. Right now at Kohl's and Kohl's.com. Offers valid July 17th through July 26th. 15% offer with promo code BIG SAVINGS. 25% off Adidas. Offers and coupons do not apply. Select styles. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
To another installment of Old Men Yell at Cloud. Yeah, that's right. We're going to get real loud towards the cloud. I'm sorry. This is your host, Patrick, and with me, as always, is Christopher.
Present and accounted for.
And also Jim.
Hey, I'm ready to get loud in the cloud.
Awesome. I get loud, proud, and cloud.
Endowed.
Like the sponge, endowed, and the Sponge song, you know. Yeah.
Say a prayer.
Joining us again, actually, from the Thriller episode is Chapman Stick player, aficionado, virtuoso, and also one half of GEPH. It's Tyler Kent.
One third of GEPH.
1/3. I don't fucking know. It's math rock.
So I have to ask you, Tyler. Do you know your Chapman Stick serial number off the top of your head?
I don't actually, because I got a new one about a year ago.
How many fucking sticks do you have?
I have two. So the first one that I have is a polycarbonate one that is from the 80s, and it's just kind of outdated. A lot of the features. Let me turn my gain down a little bit. Just a lot about it doesn't really hold up as well these days. It still sounds pretty great, but. So I just got one with like more modern appointments and and yeah.
Nice. Yeah, my friend Nate has one, and he memorized the serial number because he's a nutcase. He's going to listen to this episode and go, why doesn't this guy know his Chapman Stick serial number?
I really should, because they're 4 digits. But
yeah, for those who don't know, all Chapman Sticks are infused with the blood of Tony Levin. Every single one of them.
Yeah, poor guy.
Is it blood?
Yeah, they have him. They have him hung up like that poor.
I thought it was marrow, but
no, it's blood.
He's feeling a little lightheaded these days.
Yeah, they've got him hung up like that poor girl at the beginning of Hostel 2.
Blood. It takes a little bit of his life force every time.
Yeah, it's like the end of the Dark Crystal when they start taking the essence away from the gross little human-like Muppet things. It's exactly like that, except Tony Levin.
It's actually Tony Levin's Horcruxes in every single Chapman Stick.
So we have to destroy all of the Chapman Sticks in order to destroy Tony Levin.
We have to destroy J.K. Rowling. That's what we're getting at.
Oh, don't worry. She's doing a good enough job of that on her own.
Oh, we all know. We all know.
Every time she opens her mouth, she fucking breaks another Horcrux. Yeah, exactly.
So tonight, we are talking about the 4th studio album by American musician Todd Rundgren, A Wizard, A True Star, released March 2nd, 1973 on Bearsville Records. Isn't that?
Can I jump in with a point of trivia? The day after Dark Side of the Moon.
Really?
Wow.
Yep.
Very nice.
Huh. So I guess there wasn't like a standardized day of the week that they were releasing albums at this point. Like for a while it was like Tuesdays or something.
It was always different in the UK from what I understand, but yeah, it may not have been standardized at all back then.
Oh, interesting. So yeah, this is his 4th studio album. It marks a departure from his previous Something Anything record, which was a double album that kind of was more focused on straightforward pop songs. So this was more of a direction towards psychedelic, progressive pop, because he just started doing a bunch of acid, and he had a realization of what music and sound were like in my internal environment and how different it was from the music that I had been making. He envisioned the record as a hallucinogenic-inspired flight plan, with all the tracks segueing seamlessly into one another, creating a sort of chaotic mood and ending with the melody of his favorite soul songs. And upon its release, it kind of mixed. Upon its release, it received mixed reviews, but it has been recognized for its influence on later generations, particularly bedroom musicians, which has been kind of like a more 2010s, 2020s sort of phenomenon, as more people are kind of more average folk are like having home studios and shit. It also is one of the longest single disc LPs to date. It's about 56 minutes long, and because of that, early pressings sound like ass because they're cramming like about 26 minutes of very loud program on each side, and you had to like turn it up very loud to actually get anything out of it. So,
did you follow that wiki down that wiki rabbit hole? The longest single disc LPs.
I have, yeah. It's a lot of fun. There's one.
There's one that's 90 minutes.
Yeah, there's one. It's 90 minutes with Arthur Fielder and the Boston Pops. Arthur Fielder's 1976 LP made by Radio Shack.
Yeah, and it's weird because usually
Good old Radio Shack.
Yeah, they're a brand I equate with quality.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I think with some of them are like spoken word, which you can fit a lot more on each side because it's not taking up as much dynamic range. But actually, Rundgren's 1975 album Initiation is fucking 67 minutes long over two sides.
Starting to wonder if he cares about audio fidelity.
He's just trying to get it as long as he possibly can.
I think he's kind of all over the place, and I'll get into that.
I mean, I think he was too busy tripping balls to give a shit about the quality of the sound.
He was, I think he was compensating for something, donkey. You guys remember Shrek? Isn't that fun?
Yeah.
But,
it's just saying that he has
what's Shrek?
Donkey penis?
He's an ogre who lives in the swamp, and he has a donkey friend who sounds exactly like Eddie Murphy.
Sings for Smash Mouth.
Yes. Yeah, and he's also rolling out to check out America's finest diners, drive-ins, and dives as well.
It was based off a off-Broadway play, actually. The Shrek.
The Shrek.
Yes. With several song cycles written by...
it was Van Dyke Parks, correct?
Van Dyke Parks and...
Andrew Lloyd Webber?
No. Who's the guy who...
Matthew Broderick. Van Dyke Parks and Matthew Broderick were the writers of it.
Oh my God, you're right. Yeah, rare credit for him. He did kind of dabble into off-Broadway shit for a little while there in the late 90s. So yeah, that's the Shrek. What's your favorite track off the Shrek, Christopher?
That would be All-Star by Smash Mouth.
Ooh, yeah, classic.
I gotta say, we were talking about Radio Shack, and there used to be a Radio Shack right around the corner from my house, and I gotta tell you, they had a lot of crap in there, but they were always good for finding fuses that I could not find anywhere else.
Yeah, fusers, audio cords, and adapters. They were always they'd always have what you needed.
Yeah. Other than that, it was crap.
Deegan and I did this like insane recording when I lived at my parents' house, like when I was 19 or something. I was recording his band at the time, and in my garage at my parents' house, which is my parents' house is set up on a hill, and the garage is at the bottom of the hill. So we ran mic cords all the way down from my bedroom window to go to this like shitty piano that was in the garage to get 3 chords out of it, and then like ran it back so like we could have talk back. And I had to get like this like it was a XLR female to female like adapter, which I had never found a single use for in my life otherwise, but fucking Radio Shack had it, and they had it for like $4.
Oh yeah, it's like going to like an Ace Hardware, and they just have like all the different size nuts right there for you, except they're just different kinds of connections and do-wax, and I mean it's a bunch of crap, but they say that right in their slogan.
Yeah,
we have the crap that you need. It is crap, but you need it.
And then it goes in that box of cables that nobody ever touches again.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh,
well,
yeah.
I mean, it's at least sorted by adapters. I have an adapter drawer.
I have every single USB cord I've ever gotten in any sort of device, and I just never. They're just all just thrown in the thing, still twisty tied and everything.
Well, those are like rings in Sonic. If you get hit by a villain, you'll lose them all, and you have to collect as many again as you can.
Are they still open?
There's
No.
still a couple floating around, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, there is one. I forget where it is, but there is one that's managed to maintain the name and logo and branding and everything like that. But I believe it operates wholly independently, and the guy who runs it is all about like, no. I didn't follow any of the trends that they started going down in the '90s. Like I'm keeping it legit. So it's all just like radio parts and adapters and shit like that.
Radio snack.
Yeah.
That's pretty incredible. So he just started like a rogue state Radio Shack it ain't going down anytime soon because he's keeping it alive. So
Yeah,
why kill it?
Yeah, it's similar to. Are any of you familiar with Huddle Hut?
It sounds familiar.
It's an eatery in the South that
Yes,
by all
I have
appearances seems to just be rogue Waffle Houses. Like a
Yes.
bunch of rogue
I know,
Waffle
I've
House
seen those,
franchisees were like, no, we got our own thing going. We're calling it Huddle Hut because that's way better.
That's incredible. Huddle Hut?
Huddle Hut.
H-U-T-T?
DD. Like
A-D-D.
yeah, like the gang's got to
Okay.
huddle around to figure out what to do next. We're gonna huddle around and figure out where to get breakfast.
Oh, Huddle House. Oh.
Is it Huddle House? I thought it was Huddle Hut. Yeah, Huddle House. Sorry, my bad.
Huddle House. Oh, yeah, they got country fried steak. I mean, it looks like... I hate to say it, like the modern, quasi-modern look of the website's kind of turning me off. Like, I want to go into a Waffle House and feel like I'm going back to, like, I could be, it could be 2020 or it could also be, like...
I want to remember the
1981.
diarrhea I had back in 1989.
No, I want it to just be like a vacuum in time when I go in there, like...
Well,
It
go
could
for
be
the bites.
1976. It could be 1993.
And-
Like, who gives a fuck? You're having fucking hash browns 8 different ways.
and it
I
should
remember
be,
I was
it should
driving
be
back from
filthy.
I went to my friend's wedding in Washington D.C. and on the way back, you see the Waffle Houses and you're like, well, I gotta stop. And
Well, yeah, you have to.
You have
There's
to.
no way you.
they
There's
call
no way you
to
can
you
just control yourself. You
because
have to give in.
they're like every 15 minutes on the highway they just call to you. You see those Scrabble looking letters for
at least 2 of them out at night.
yeah.
Yellow is meant to sort of like confuse and confound you into following it.
But
to
I
the light
remember
like a fly.
I got off the highway and we went to Waffle House and I ate sausage, gravy, and biscuits, which was not a good idea to eat, and then continued driving up 95. And I think all the way up the Jersey Turnpike, I was like screaming in pain. And there's like no exits on the Jersey Turnpike, so I was like fucked.
Yeah,
Finally,
it just sits like cement in your stomach. You're like not sure what to do with it.
That would be a great road trip. Just like go to a Waffle House, just sleep in the parking lot for like 2 hours, and then drive to the next Waffle House.
Yeah, you start
Each
out
one,
each
you're like, where is your bathroom?
start out at each one. Yeah, just going right to the bathroom and really getting to know the establishment before you get started. I know I've told you my Waffle House story probably on this podcast before. When I was there
I
with
think
my
so.
family, and the second the waitress cleared our dishes and turned away,
Oh,
like,
the big moth.
yeah, the largest moth I'd ever seen just dropped dead in the middle of our table. So good.
Yeah, it's beautiful piece of Southern Gothic right there.
I remember going into a Shoney's in Tennessee one time. I was in like fucking backwoods Tennessee. I was driving across the country by myself. And I remember being in this Shoney's, and I wanted Shoney's so bad that I went like 30 minutes off the highway to get to it. And I ended up, and God knows where the fuck I was in Tennessee, but I remember the family next to me had to have been at least a little bit inbred. But
Jesus. Just a little bit.
they were talking about
Just a touch
it
of
was
it.
like it was like the mom, the dad, the son. I think a grandfather was there, and then it was just like they were talking about their uncles, and he's like, I don't know which uncle you're talking about. I got like 17. Oh, I don't like that uncle. No, that one's not good. Like just the going through all the uncles and rating them.
Shoney's
It was a good time.
That's very, very good. Shoney's to me is notable for two reasons. One, I just sent you guys in the chat. That's their mascot.
The bear.
I just love that they have a dim-witted bear as a mascot, similar to Honeydew Donuts. I really like going with that angle.
Yeah, there's a the dim-witted bear, the Shoney bear, and there's actually a I don't know if you guys have heard of Buc-ee's.
No.
It's
Does that have like a beaver or something?
Yeah, it's
The
these
Vampire Slayer?
huge ass truck stops in Texas. Like they're like they're
Fuck off.
Bucky the vampire.
So fucking stupid
No,
and
and
good.
he's a stupid looking beaver. And I've got a coffee mug because you go into this and you got to buy something.
Well,
Have y'all been to a big boy?
oh yeah, Bob's Big Boy.
No, I've never been. It's on my list.
The other thing I wanted to say about Shoney's, though, that has been notable
It's on my
for me-
list of places I'd like to have diarrhea.
Yeah, the other notable thing about Shoney's is they're the restaurant that has the biggest discrepancy between the cleanliness of the front of house and the filthiness of their bathrooms. So basically, if you're doing on a road trip or something like that, and you find somewhere to stop, or you want to find somewhere to stop, and there's a Shoney's as an option, and you know you're going to need to use the facilities, just keep driving a little bit. Find anything else. Like the front of the restaurant, it's deceptively clean and modern, but once you get back into the restrooms, then fucking all hell breaks loose.
All deuces are wild. Get it? Deuces.
The most disgusting bathroom I've ever been in my life.
Strap
was,
in.
The Jackalope in Austin.
You could be making that up. I don't know.
Yeah.
Jackalope?
No, it's real.
On 6th Street,
On 6th Street, yep.
dive bar
I've
with
never been to
funky
Austin,
burgers.
so I'm just taking your word for it.
Well, I'm doing some research now. Maybe I can find it on Yelp. Maybe some hero took a picture of it.
It's pretty bad. The bar itself is pretty cool. It's like a punk rock kind of bar, but it's very divey. But the bathroom is terrible. All right, Patrick, take the reins back, will you?
All right, Christopher. Christopher, what was your favorite track off this record?
All right. So surprisingly, my favorite song is going to be the medley. The I'm So Proud, Ooh Baby Baby, La La Means I Love You, and Cool Jerk.
Is that allowed? Can we let him do that?
It's one track.
No, it's
One
it's
track.
according to fucking Todd Rundgren, it's like a pretty integral track on the record, and yeah, he was fucking around with acid. Actually, there's a note on his Wikipedia here that he tried DMT once, but he didn't like it, so he never took it again.
I drank some of that with a friend of mine once. We had a friend who was a chemist, and he cooked some up for us. And we drank it, and he's like, "Oh yeah, drink it with orange juice because this stuff tastes like real bad." So
Yeah.
Back to Waffle House.
yeah, we each had like a pint glass and put like that much DMT in it and filled the rest with OJ, and it was fucking undrinkable. It tasted horrible, but it was that strong over the OJ.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. Anyway, I developed a character that I called the Chicago Bluesman while on DMT, and I called everyone but my family in my phone book. And if they answered, I hung up. And if they let it go to voicemail, I played a song on acoustic guitar about making trouble for the authorities.
Very nice.
But
Some
anyway,
people write masterpieces. Some people.
But anyway, I digress. Yeah, I enjoyed this because a lot of this album has a lot of fucking around on it. And I love a good fucking around on an album. I love people wanking around with synthesizers and effects, and I could listen to that shit all day long. The problem that I had with a lot of this album is that it appeared to have a sense of humor about it that Rundgren thought he was making apparent, and I think he thought that like everyone would be in on the joke. But my problem with a lot of this album is that, yeah, there was a sense of humor to it, but I didn't find it amusing. So a lot of the audio experiments and like little half songs started getting kind of grating to me. But this I was dreading going up to this song because it is number 15 out of a 19-song track list, and its running time is over 10 minutes. So as the album was going along, I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, I'm going to have to figure out something to, like, keep my sanity. Like those guys used to do in Solitary and Alcatraz. Like, I can turn off the light, rip a button off of my shirt and throw it on the floor, and then I can crawl around on the floor and try to find it, and then I can throw it again and try to find it again. But all that being said, I actually really enjoyed this because it was, I thought, one of the more sincere parts of the album. It sounded like he was really putting his all into it, and it was produced great. It sounded great. So yeah, that was the part of the album where I was like, oh, holy shit! Like, I actually could probably be getting more into some of the stuff that this here fella's putting out.
Yeah, there's a lot of great production on that medley in particular. I think I mentioned the snare drum has this sort of like great crunch to it, and yeah, I think they're also some of the more like traditionally mixed tracks. So yeah, they sound a little more quote unquote, I guess, like down to earth, and a little less fucking like esoteric and insular. So yeah, his Rundgren's explaining the meaning behind the medley. It's like opening up a hole in your memory, and suddenly these memories, soul records you loved, say, start leaking out from who knows where. That's another aspect of psychedelic drugs, sometimes hearing and seeing things that won't be familiar to you, blah, 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 blah. So if, like, say, I don't know, the equivalent of Todd Rundgren, circa 2002 was like, oh, all these Limp Bizkit records are leaking out, and they're going to inform the Limp Bizkit medley on my on my bedroom pop record.
No. We arrived at a solid destination
with that. Tyler, what was your favorite track?
I was split between two. I think Zen Archer. Is probably my favorite. That song to me has kind of everything that's good about this album all wrapped up into one, because it's got a lot of the quirkiness that the rest of the album has, and kind of the weird production stuff, the phaser. But it's also just it sounds like one of the more concisely thought out songs on the record. And I love the sax solo at the end too, the Michael Brecker.
Oh yeah. So I'm going to jump on that train as well. And I think there really wasn't that many I mean, there's like 19 songs, but there were probably maybe only like 2 or 3 that I would consider top tier. The rest of them I just think are pretty great. But Zen Archer is definitely up there. I think it's just like you said. It does seem to have like the most sort of thought put into it. It's one of the longer tracks, but it actually seems to have a lot more thought into like the different structures of this, like the verse, chorus, and different sections of the song. They just seem to be like more cohesive, and it just has this sort of like great, like pseudo oompa, like polka feel to it. Just mixed with all the great instrumentation on top of it, the sort of like weird accordion sounding synth that happens in the beginning, that like sea shanty sound.
It's got those like tempo changes too. That they're not they're tempo changes, but it's not like you're flipping between 5 different songs.
No, so
like some of the others. Sorry.
Sorry to interrupt. I was just saying that like that's kind of part of the charm too, is that he's not playing to a click, so the the songs have a little more life to them. There's these sections where things kind of slow down, and like this, it goes to that 6/8 feel, and like kind of drags it down a little bit, and then brings you back into that more upbeat tempo. And that killer sax solo towards the end is just like super majestic. Really great vocal harmonies all over that track too. Yeah, and it's just
Jim,
just
I
like
just
a pretty
remembered
song.
1947. It's 1947. That's the serial number.
Oh, interesting. 1947. I think it's one of his like better tracks, one of his better like songs in my opinion. I love that song. Jim, what was your favorite track?
I'm gonna hop on that train as well. The Zen Archer train. A lot of the same sentiments that you guys had. It also was kind of a nice break from the insanity that came from the previous 8 songs.
Yeah.
When International Feel started, I was like, okay, this is a song, and it had a vibe to it. And then after that, it was just a bunch of nonsense. It was cool nonsense, but when you get to Zen Archer, it kind of reins it back in, and you actually get a song again. And I liked the lyrical content too. I don't know if I understood really what he was saying. Was he saying "pretty bird" and then talking about bird being dead on the end of a lance, pretty much?
Something like that.
Yeah. I don't know.
There's
I thought
a lot
it was
of drugs happening. I don't
Yeah,
really know what's happening in that song.
I kind of liked the vibe of that song.
Yeah. Me too. Great track. All right, Christopher, what was your least favorite?
Well, this is gonna be
That would be.
I've heard
I'm not
going to
be too spicy. Just in general, that would be Tick Tick Tick. It wears off. My note for it was wanking with 50 minutes left to go. Because Never Neverland, I didn't really enjoy. There was that horrible flange that was going through the first couple tracks, and then finally we were rid of the flange, and then there was just wanking in its place. So it didn't bode well for me for the way that the rest of the album was going to go. And that was when I bottomed out on this album, let's just say. That was the point where I was just like, there is so much left of this, and I'm really not enjoying this right now. So, yeah, that was the bottom. But on the plus side, it went up from there.
It's a pretty goofy track. I always thought it sounded like I don't know, cartoon character getting ready for work or some shit, or riding on the bus. It kind of has that sort of corny ass feel to it. I don't know. I dig it just because in the context of what he's doing.
Well, if it was more
developed.
developed.
I see what you mean.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of abrasive, when he at the beginning where he's just tick tick tick. I was like, whoa. That was
I think a lot of these ideas,
hot.
I'd have fewer problems with them if they were developed at all. I understand what he's doing. I think he's doing too much of it at the expense of actually having something that is generally listenable.
Tyler, what was your least favorite track?
So let me find it real quick. There were a lot of I didn't really consider a lot of the kind of smaller passing tunes and stuff like that when I was thinking about least favorite.
Yeah, we can make Anima rules here.
What's that?
I'm gonna have to veto that because that is 75% of this fucking album.
Yeah. Just Another Onion Head, Dada Dali.
The blessing of the turtles, the eggs lay on the lawns. Paint a pretty picture for me to sit upon. The calling of the rabbit, the falling of the hare. The hat bend and begins to play. The song is everywhere. The obvious you get, the obvious you want, the obvious you get, the obvious you want, the obvious
So stupid.
For my
Yeah,
my
I think
note
my
for
note
that
was just dumb.
So for just another onion head, my note was circus, and then my vote for Dada Dali was bad circus, sang by WB Frog.
Jim, what was your least favorite track?
I'm gonna go with where the fuck did it go? Dogfight Giggle. This song immediately reminded me of my house is right next to the woods, and I don't know if you've ever heard a pair of possums fight with each other, but it sounds a lot like this song, and it's not a sound that I like. Let's put it that way. When it's 2:30 in the morning and I'm sound asleep and I'm awoken by the sound of two animals beating the shit out of each other. So yeah.
Now, I
MVP
mean,
moment for me.
I don't think he put it on the record to be like something that you unwind to be completely fair. So I think it's.
I don't think anything on this record is to unwind to. Like, it's not like I get home from a long day in the coal mine and I'm like, what can I put on to drink with my fine whiskey and
You think
and
he
relax?
considered like other people when he recorded this? Like, come on, you're missing the whole point.
Well, I think he actually says that in the Wikipedia article too.
Yeah.
On the topic of possum fights, I gotta say there's a lot of great fights out there. Animal fights is my number 2. My number 1 is dad fights.
Just like dads beating each other up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a good fight.
With possums.
Like the one.
Oh yeah, tag team. What?
Like
One
just
possum,
swinging
one
possums
dad
at each
on
other?
each team.
I've told you guys the dad power story. I had to have told you that on this show.
I don't know this story.
No, I don't.
I'm
know
not
this
familiar.
story.
I have it on film, but I'm not going to look it up right now. I was in Vegas for work, and it was the end of the day, and I was just kind of walking up and down the strip just to people watch, and you find some characters, and I found this middle-aged dad, just your average dad, just wandering around the strip by himself, obviously shit-faced. And just walking down the strip going, Dad power, anytime, anywhere, Dad power, we'll take you on, anytime. And he was just yelling this by himself. I've got it on video.
Did he say we'll take you on?
Yes.
Or I'll. Oh, okay. So
No, we. I
presumably
think
there were other dads doing the same thing.
he was
in other
he was
places.
just speaking on behalf of dads, I think.
The anytime, anywhere really makes it for me.
Yeah. Dad's strong.
Okay.
We'll take you
How
on.
about
Yeah.
right now?
Yeah, I'll try to find the video real quick so I can play the clip because I had
have
to
the
get this on video.
I've got the
couldn't-
physical strength of like a kitten at best, but I'm pretty sure I could take on like a blackout drunk dad who's
I
outside
get
in
it.
Vegas
I
during
found
the
it.
day.
Anytime, anywhere you want.
That's good stuff.
Oh, that's excellent. That is so excellent. So my least favorite track is actually the medley.
Many guys have come to you with a line that wasn't true, and then you passed them by. Now you're in the center ring, and their lies don't mean a thing.
Whoa! And there's nothing wrong with it. I think it's, like you said, it's like excellently produced. It's sincere. It's him showing a side of himself, a more vulnerable side of himself. He's feeling a little. I don't know the more nostalgic, I guess. Which is amenable. I just don't really love where it fits within the concept of this record, where I want it to be, I guess I wanted it to be like completely insular, and he's bringing in, other people's songs. Plus, it's 10 and a half minutes long. If you took this track off, you could have a regular, length album. It would be about 45 minutes instead of 55. So, maybe release it as like a fucking 10-inch or something like that. I don't know. I'm not Todd Rundgren. I don't call the shots.
Oh, I mean, he could squeeze this out on a 5-inch.
5
No,
inch?
with the way he just fucking has no shits to give about how much music he squeezes onto that vinyl.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Just double, like 1 hour per 5-inch side. It'll sound great.
I could understand. I can understand where you're coming from with the medley, though. Like to me, like Just One Victory kind of like filled a similar need, without being 10 minutes long in somebody else's music.
Yeah, and he's. He has experience writing soul tracks. There's, on the first 3 records, he could be classified as Philadelphia soul. Basically, he definitely like some very convincing stuff on the previous record. He could have just done something that was maybe an homage to these tracks, but I don't know. He also kind of put his own spin on it, which is like pretty cool too. Like Cool Jerk, he did like a 7/8 version of it. Give it a little cool jerk, if you know what I mean. Made famous by the uncle in Home Alone.
Yeah, it was Uncle Frank and Uncle Frank McAllister in Home Alone 2. Yeah, he was singing it in the shower, and Kevin sneaked in there and recorded it on his Talkboy. The uncle then called him a pervert.
Yeah.
They don't really call kids perverts in movies anymore, right? Like that feels like something that you couldn't get away with.
Calling a kid a pervert?
Yes.
I don't know. Why? What? You could call a kid a pervert if he's being a pervert.
No, I mean like in a movie. Like you're not going to see like a Christopher Columbus directed film written by, what's his name, John Hughes, calling a child a pervert.
No, you're not. Not anymore. I mean, the days
like
are
if
just
somebody
different.
You mean like if somebody called Dennis the Menace a pervert, like that would throw you?
Yeah, I feel like that would be a little bit more jarring in this day and age.
Like Jay North himself,
like,
he's a grown-up now.
Here's the problem. They would have to put the child in the situation where they could be called a pervert, believably. So I guess I'd have to backtrack, rewind the tape a few seconds to where Kevin walks in the bathroom where his uncle is having a shower and then proceeds to record him.
You're trying to trap the child into a situation where they are a pervert, and then that's how you call them a pervert?
You are painting what I am saying in a very different way than I am phrasing it, and I do not
We're
care
just
for
looking for excuses to call kids perverts now.
I guess so. I mean, I don't even want to see a child. Nevertheless, talk to them.
Also in Home Alone 2, Donald Trump has a cameo in it, and it is gross. It is gross. Look it up, because he fucking looks at Kevin like he's a piece of meat.
Oh, no, I've seen it.
It's fucking gross.
It's
so,
just gross.
Anyway, as a palate cleanser, here, I'm going to send you something in
And he very
in the chat here.
irresponsibly lets a child wander out into the streets of New York.
Yes. This is something I learned today. Tarantulas can swim.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's good.
So it's a little palate
pretty
cleanser.
good.
That's something we needed to know.
So
It's actually kind of cute.
Emily's friends are afraid to come over the house now because I keep posting videos and pictures of spiders around the house.
I mean, is it the same one, or you keep running into different ones?
No, they're different ones.
I have a friend who plays bass and stick over in Australia, who constantly is like just posting pictures of like just the random wild bugs like he finds in his house.
Oh, I'm
I
sure
can only
they're, like,
imagine.
enormous, yeah.
It's some of just the most insane looking shit I've ever seen.
It's Crocky, look at this mosquito. It's 10 pounds.
It's got 10 pounds of Tony Levin's blood.
But they don't use pounds. No, probably be kilograms.
Pounds of blood.
Probably
Pounds of dried blood.
Christopher G. Brown. Mr. Brown. Bring it on down to Browntown with downtown Christopher Brown. I think we're on to most valuable moment.
Yeah, MVP moment.
Which I don't think we've said out loud like that before.
Well, yeah, because it's MVP moment, not most valuable moment.
Most valuable player moment.
What's your MVM?
MVP MVM. Snare tone. Throughout the album, but in particular on Sometimes You Don't Know What to Feel.
Sometimes I don't know. Sometimes I don't know. I just don't know what to feel. Sometimes I don't know. Sometimes.
It was a kick-ass snare
Yeah.
tone. Most of the time throughout this era of the 70s, there was a lot of like really muffled, kind of like wimpy sounding snare, whereas this actually sounded like you were in a room with a drummer who was playing a drum kit, and one of those drums happened to be a snare.
I feel like there was a lot of 1073 on this, if I'm not mistaken, but it could be.
Is that
Possibly,
a compressor?
No, it's a preamp. It's
Preamp.
like it was like the classic 70s warm preamp.
Yeah.
The big difference
Yes.
to me is that there was a lot more top snare than you usually get out of records like this, and maybe a little bit more room too, because you could actually hear the snare drum itself as opposed to, just the wires on the bottom of it, just kind of gently pushed up in the mix a little bit.
Yeah, you get like a good amount of the snare bottom too, but it's gated in a really nice way. I'm a big fan of the drum tone all over this album, and yeah, Rundgren has actually done some few records where the drum tone like was kind of like, oh, like can't believe this came out this year. Skylarking, the XTC album being one of them, came out in like 1986 or something like that, but there's a track on there, the drum tone, you would expect like really shitty fucking gated reverb, but it sounds like kind of like nice and organic, and from the early 90s or something like that. So yeah, he's kind of on the cutting edge of a lot of that shit. Tyler, what's your MVP moment?
Probably whenever the horns came up for me, those were like really special little moments. And I think it's Michael Brecker, and I think his brother, right?
Yep. Michael and Randy Brecker,
Yeah.
which I'm not sure what their pedigree was. They have honorary doctorates from Berklee College of Music. He's played with like Miles Davis, Charles Mingus, Steely Dan, Jacko, Chick Corea, all these people.
So that, and then there's actually 2 drum takes happening at the same time on the last track. And I thought it really added something really cool to that as well.
Shining steel, give us the wind, and you hear me, the sound of my voice. I am here to tell you I have made my choice. I've been listening to what's been going down. There's just too much talk and gossip going round. You may think that I'm
Because there's like percussion behind it too, but like notably you the song starts off and then you hear like a drum fill into the other side, and then for the rest of the tune there's 2 drum takes going on at the same time, which is cool.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that, but I think I know what you mean now. It's a cool technique you don't hear often. I like when it happens.
Yeah.
Throw as many fucking drum sets as possible in a track. I'm all for it, right, Jim?
Oh yeah, I just want to bang on the drum all day.
Hey, that's his song.
I love
Rundies.
Boingo Boingo.
This guy. I guess it's my. So my MVP moment was in Flamingo, actually, that little instrumental track. And it's actually those moments, these kind of sad and slow little synth clav leads that kind of break up the carnival sections. Like a really nice, pretty, longing contrast from the, the sort of goofy, but I think it's fun, and I enjoy it thoroughly, but the sort of like goofy carousel things that happen in between. But yeah, those sections are just like beautifully written, and yeah, I think it's just like a clav with a lot of high end on it and a couple layers of synths, and just, yeah, pretty stuff.
Would you consider "I Don't Want to Tie You Down" one of those moments too? With I just the low end has a lot of just like really cool synth stuff happening in that one.
Yeah, that one. That one for sure too. Has a lot of those same, rocking a lot of those same tones. Jim, what was your MVP moment?
So I actually had two, and I was going to pick the one that you just mentioned. That was my MVP as well, those little high-pitched synth things, but I'll go with my other choice, which is the 7/8 part in Is It My Name?
Is it my name? Is it my name? Is it my name? Don't miss the phone, baby. Don't miss the pain. I don't think I can play this scene again.
You know how I love some 7/8.
Yeah, it's a good rock tune. Kind of one of those like early examples of power pop that go on to influence so much of American 70s rock, like later on in the decade, like everyone from like the Cars to 38 Special kind of having that sort of groove to it.
Very like early like Mothers of Invention kind of thing.
Oh yeah. There's little bits of Zappa here and there too. Yeah,
Oh,
he was
yeah.
listening to a lot of Zappa and Yes, and kind of a lot of prog rock in general during this time. I actually forgot about one of my other MVP moments, which unfortunately, because of the logistics of our listening room, it cut off the very last second of Rock and Roll Pussy, where Todd Rundgren just goes, "Pussy." It has to have been sampled, like in a hip hop song at some point too, because it's just like it's so well placed. So yeah, that particular song is making fun of basically just shitting on what's his name, John Lennon. What's his name from the band there. Just basically
Plastic Ono Band.
calling him a fake revolutionary and a so-called limousine radical, and yeah, I think this might have been the song that what's his name might have taken a little too seriously. And
Mark David Chapman.
Yeah, apparently he was a big Todd Rundgren fan.
Yeah, figures.
Yeah, spicy boys.
I fucking love the Mark David Chapman story about how he had these fucking like gnomes living in his brain that were like, nope, we don't think you should do it. We've all talked about it, and we don't think you should do it. And then he went and did it anyway. But
people.
yeah, you brought up Mothers of Invention. I think I brought this up a while back on Slack. I was going to try to listen to one Zappa album a day because I wanted to get through the whole Zappa discography, which I've decided is fucking impossible.
I was going to say, are you still doing that to this day,
Yeah.
like 5 years
No,
later?
see, what happened was I got like 5 albums in, and I went, I'm going to go insane if I keep doing this. Like, I need a break.
Yeah, that's a lot. He's much. He is just much.
There's a lot of what Chris was saying about this record applies to a lot of Zappa, where it's like I understand that I understand the sense of humor here. I just don't think it's funny.
It's not my sense of humor.
Yeah.
Well, we should do is we should do a Zappa album at some point. I've got Chic Your Booty on vinyl. It's a good one.
I mentioned something in the in our listening room chat about how Rundgren kind of has a lot of bra moments in his lyrics. One of his first hits was called "We Gotta Get You a Woman," which women weren't like too thrilled about that song for obvious reasons. So then he wrote another
can you
song.
Explain can you explain why? Why were women upset by that? That seems reasonable. And so does his erection song on this album.
Oh, I love that. I've noticed
Is
that.
it my name?
There's a reason I'm erect. Is the line.
Yeah, no, I'm being
He gets right to
facetious.
the point.
Yeah, he's a little bro-y at points.
Yeah, a little bit. And then like he wrote a song that was like in response to women calling him out on it. That was basically just, it's called Chain Letter. It's a great song, but like the attitude of the song was like, hey, relax, don't take me so seriously, yo. Why you gotta take me so seriously? I don't take you seriously.
I was gonna ask if we do a like an LVP moment thing, so I could bring up the lyrics of it. Is it my name? Because there's there's that line. There's a reason I'm so erect, and then there's also later in the song, my voice goes so high you would think I was gay, but I play my guitar in such a man-cock way. Why don't you love me?
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
Did not age well. And also that really obnoxious bit about you only love me for my machine. Like, what? Okay, I'm not sure what happened.
That's actually the same machine that years later Tom Morello would proceed to rage against.
Yeah.
Their name is actually about Rundgren's his old dick.
Yep.
Rage against Rundie's dick.
Rage against the Grundle.
Ugh. Rundie.
Come on. Why? We're just trying to have a good time here. This is a family program. You know, my family
Damn it,
listens
Chris.
to this.
I didn't do nothing.
There is nothing family-oriented about this show.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. This show will actually castrate you.
Like if I ever have children, I'm gonna have to keep them away from the internet.
You say as you're surrounded by the Teletubbies.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my playground, not theirs.
Christopher, what was your comparable album?
Comparable album for me is one that came out a few years before this, and I think did a lot of what this album was going for, but did in a way that kind of agreed with me a little bit more. And that would be Star Sailor by Tim Buckley.
I knew you were going to pick that. I knew you were going to pick that before we even listened to this album.
Pixar, it didn't happen.
I wrote it somewhere. I'll find it.
Okay. Well, while you do that, Star Sailor, I think, is a better example of this sort of thing that's a little bit more up my alley, because I think there's a little bit more substance there, and in addition to things being kind of batshit crazy, they kind of go somewhere. Not that they necessarily go somewhere predictable or that they're following any sort of set structure or anything like that, but I feel like the ideas are given the chance to kind of evolve a little bit and progress beyond the initial like riff. Whereas I think that this album kind of will sit on one riff for about like a minute and a half and then move on and it's the next thing. So yeah, I'd say it's cut from the same cloth, but it works for me a little bit better.
Cool. Teller, what about you?
We're only in it for the money.
Zappa.
Mothers of Invention.
Yeah.
Fair.
And specifically what we talked about at the satire kind of compromises the quality of the actual music for me, which is just very much the vibe of that album. Between that and the 2019 movie version of Cats.
Wow.
The butthole version.
Wow.
Yeah.
Solid.
No
Solid
explanation.
pick. Jim, what was your comparable record?
I'm gonna sidebar here for a second. I'm watching these Teletubbies over and over again on my screen, and
All right, but they
I'm
can't
just-
see the tubbies.
I'm just thinking to myself, what the fuck was it like to work on this show?
I got really
Very-
stoned once, probably like 2006, 2007. I was in my first apartment in Alston, and I was the only person in the apartment on like a Saturday afternoon. It was summer, it was warm, I had the windows open, and I was like really, really high. And I was flipping through the stations, and Teletubbies came on, and I just sat there watching it, and I was like, this makes so much sense. Because, like, I basically have the mind of a simpleton right now because of the drugs that I've elected to take and am using in my body at this point, and I'm catatonic on this couch watching this. And this show I just get it. Like, this is entertaining to me because, like, there's not a lot of conversation that I have to follow. There aren't too many characters, and there's a lot of color going on.
Fair. I actually heard that Teletubbies was a problem because it was affecting speech development in children.
I could totally see how that could be the case.
Yeah, I could possibly see that.
Anyways, my comparable album, I'm going to be, speaking of Mark David Chapman, I'm going to go with Sgt. Pepper just for the sake of the fucking lunacy of this album, I guess.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Definitely both examples of psychedelic, progressive pop sort of lunacy nonsense and all that shit. My pick is going to be, ooh, got a little froggy there.
Got a little Wendy's coming back up there, buddy?
Nope, that's probably bong resin. My pick is Before Today, Ariel Pink's record from 2010. It's definitely, this was like a sort of bedroom pop, hypnagogic pop, lo-fi sort of record. Definitely very heavily influenced by Wizard of True Star. There's like a lot of psychedelic sort of just tones, the sort of switching between it being engaging to sort of being more detached. Like the lyrical content is definitely he has a certain sense of humor that's probably going to rub you the wrong way, and he's kind of a dick in real life, much like Todd Rundgren. Kind of a fucking like MRA asshole, but the record is a lot of fun, and definitely a lot of comparable tones there. And where it came out at the beginning of the 2010s, I think it had like a lot of influence on bedroom pop musicians, because it was a at-home made recording, I think, it was like recorded in various band members' home studios. So yeah, kind of similar vibes there. All right, let's rate this motherfucker, because we're about an hour in now, so I guess we should probably stop talking about Wendy's and talk about some music. Christopher, my spicy boy, my sweet spicy
That's
boy.
a spicy Christopher.
What do you rate A Wizard of True Star?
What I am going to rate this album is I'm giving it an extra point because it has influenced people that I really enjoy. I'm going to give it a 4. It
Holy
was,
hell.
yeah, it
With the extra point.
Yeah, with the
Wow.
extra point. Yeah, this album really did not do very much for me at all, and I didn't really enjoy it. Sorry, man. It was not for me.
I think that's the lowest Christopher rating we've seen.
I think so.
Yeah.
So is it like just too much nonsense, or like even the like quote unquote real tracks just like weren't really your style either? Kinda
That's
just, like, in
exactly
general?
it. There was.
I'm wondering if there's other records of his that might be more your thing.
Totally possible, but the more songy songs on this were a little bit of everything from the 70s that I didn't like. where
Yeah.
everything was like super smooth. Then the sax would come in, and yeah, just there was a lot of things that I didn't like about the more songy songs, and then everything else was just kind of like a half-baked idea that stopped after a minute to a minute and a half. So I mean, it makes sense that the medley was my favorite part of it.
Yeah, because like his more poppy songs, they're basically just boy Carole King, and he's actually admitted to that as well, to that comparison. Tyler, what do you rate this?
I would give it a, I'll say 5.5.
Can't do that. You could do strong 5.
Strong 5. I'll do strong 5. There are definitely some moments and even some entire songs that I really enjoyed and probably would flip back to. But there's just a whole lot of jarring in between that. My problem with the other stuff isn't so much the wacky nature of it, but I think it's more just more the brevity of it, I guess. The just, okay, here's 30 seconds of an idea I had. Okay, we're gonna do something else, and it's too few and far between the moments that kind of ground you.
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, a lot of ADD happening, which he actually does admit to having that as well. He was diagnosed with it at some point. The previous record, Something Anything, he actually recorded while on Ritalin and marijuana, like basically throughout the whole session, which I guess he was able to crank out a double album in like 3 months. Jim. Oh, sorry. Continue.
Sorry, that's Something Anything?
Yeah, the album that is previous. Jim.
Oh boy. All right. I'm gonna have to agree with Tyler. I'm gonna give it a strong 5 as well. It's
Oof, guys.
and it's one of those things where there was too much going on for me to digest it in one listen. Like, maybe if I spent more time with it and listened to it more, I could get more out of it. But like you mentioned, it was so ADD and fast, and like as soon as I started to like grab onto something, it would change to another song. I did like the songy songs. I do like classic rock a lot, and I like the 70s a lot. I noticed like a lot of Beatles, and kind of even the first track I made notes about, like, oh, this kind of got like a Zeppelin vibe to it. So I feel like the tracks that were actually tracks were cool, and I feel like if you maybe like stripped 80% of the nonsense that was going on and had them kind of be like segue tracks, it might have got a higher rating. But yeah, there's just too much nutsness going on in this for me to really like grab onto something.
Cool. I give it a 9. Fuck you guys. No, everything that actually, like, everything you're saying is totally fair. I would say the first time I listened to it, I probably would have given it a 6. Second time, a 7. And then it just grew on me. It's
just, I feel I can see how this could grow.
It's a grower, not a shower. It's a lot to take in on the first instance, and I think you have to get context is definitely necessary when taking in this album. It definitely isn't a casual listen. There's a lot of fucking baloney all over it. That being said,
it's high quality baloney, at least. I mean, it's just.
That being said, the thing that Tyler said about like
Oscar Mayer
switching Oscar. The thing Tyler said about switching, like the sort of rapid fire brevity of the tracks, that actually kind of grew on me after a while, and it's sort of just understanding the context and the story behind it, where it was just he had a idea in mind, and I think he successfully executed it. He wanted to make an album where he did a bunch of drugs and like imprinted, you know, a very insular, you know, unfortunately, like, you know, genuinely him sort of record, which isn't, you know, it being insular is not going to invite everyone in. So if you're not into it, you're not going to be into it. I kind of get it. I get where he's coming from. I really have always kind of liked the idea of someone just, I don't know, just like chemically altering their brain and creating an album that like ends up being a huge influence on, you know, generations to come, despite it being mostly, you know, kind of off the cuff nonsense, which I think he kind of dips into that on, there's a section here where he talked, actually the commencement speech that he gave in 2017 at Berklee College of Music. 2017? Gina, didn't you graduate in 2017? All right, wrong year. Damn it. Miss Todd Rundgren. Anyway, so he delivered a commencement speech at Berklee College of Music, basically saying, like, I made this crazy record called Wizard of True Star, which basically, you know, threw out all the rules of record making and deciding I would try to imprint the chaos of my head into a record without trying to clean it up for everyone else's benefit. The result was a complete loss and about half of my audience at that point. But Trent Reznor and other artists have cited it as being a major influence on them. So I have a special pride in what essentially was my act of tyranny after having achieved commercial success. This became the model for my life after that. So, I mean, like I said, his lyrics are kind of insular and definitely very male-oriented, but musically, I think that's just fucking badass and anarchist as fuck. It's to me, it's a true fucking like masterpiece. And I think this and Something Anything, I might actually give a 10, a soft 10 at this point. I've been digging a lot.
I'm gonna change my rating to a soft 6.
Oh, look at you! Sorry, you don't let me influence your rating.
No. No, the more I thought about it, as like, I definitely am more than halfway on this. So
it's
like
a lot.
I like that he did it, even if I don't like it.
I'd probably keep my rating where it is, but in you talking about it, I did think about two things. One is that when listening to this, it's very, very clear that everything sounds exactly how he meant it to.
Right.
Which is kind of the same. I mean, it's the same reason I think. You know, we're still talking about Zappa so many years later too.
Yeah.
It's just very, like, however crazy and cacophonic it sounds and everything like that. It's done very intentionally.
Yeah. There's definitely purpose to it, and he knows what he's doing. He's done some great productions. I believe he produced Bad Outta Hell.
Yep.
Including that record.
Steinman didn't produce that?
Was that?
Jim Steinman didn't produce that?
He wrote the songs. But yeah, Rundgren was brought in as an engineer or producer, co-producer.
Well, sometimes you just need a little Rundgren. Hey, actually, this is a little apropos of nothing, but I actually have a Rundgren story from my life, if you'll all indulge me.
Sure, why not?
Let's hear it.
Fine.
So, a little over 10 years ago, I worked at the Apple store that's on Boylston Street in Boston. And I was one of the one-to-one, quote-unquote, creative trainers that they employed on the top floor. And basically, my job was teaching one-to-one classes with customers on how to use the software. And I would have to help out with different events and everything, running audio through Logic, through like the PA and everything like that, and recording different live events that they had there. And one of the events that they had was Greg Hawkes from the Cars was doing a bunch of solo ukulele dates. And yeah, so he played there. This is like 2008, so it was right after I think right after the new Cars dissolved. They might have still been together at that point.
Probably a year or two.
So Greg Hawkes, lovely guy. I really cannot say enough nice things about him because he's such a gentleman, such a nice guy, just a pleasure to talk to and everything like that. The person that was there filming it was part of some local film editing group. I don't know who they are. I'm not going to put them on blast or anything like that. But I overheard him at one point talking to someone. He's like, yeah. He's like, I'm offering to do some more shows for Greg here. Yeah, I'm hoping I can use that to meet Rundgren.
Meet Rundgren.
Yeah, and it was just like this gross little like troll of a man with a camera, like who was trying to use Greg Hawkes from the fucking Cars as his stepping stone to meeting Todd Rundgren, and that man I did not care for.
Like, as far as I'm concerned, I would be just as stoked to meet Greg Hawkes as I would to meet Todd Rundgren, if not a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, he was in the Cars. Todd Rundgren was in the new Cars.
Yeah, exactly. Fucking, what was the other band that Todd Rundgren was in? Utopia? That band sucks too.
Yeah, they are distinctly not the Cars.
The Naz? Actually, I don't know.
Dude's looking for happiness at the Huddle Hut when he knows what he really wants.
All I want in life is to find a Shoney's and use their restroom. Tying it all together.
All right.
I also think that I would probably receive this record a lot differently if I hadn't listened to it through headphones.
Oh, yeah,
I'd listened to
definitely.
on some nice speakers or something like that.
Very true. Yeah, all that phasing is probably going to give you a fucking headache after a while.
Yeah, it gets pretty disorienting, but I could see how that would translate differently
What did
on
the
actual speakers.
what did the final score come out to?
Final score came out to 6.
Thanks, guys. Whatever.
That one all in with a 9.
What the fuck does Kevin Parker from Tame Impala know? The fuck does...
More like lame Impala.
Look,
yeah,
man,
actually.
this is a technically, despite the amount of time we have been talking about Greasy Spoons tonight, this is technically a music review podcast. We gave our reviews of this particular album that you have selected. You guys have trashed on shit that I have selected, and we've trashed on shit that Jim has selected. It's the way it goes.
That's
just
fine.
the way it is.
That's fine. That's fine. We all got to do it sometimes.
Did Tyler? Did you listen to this album previous to this?
I listened to it once when Pat reached out to me about being on the podcast.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. But that was the same kind of thing. I had headphones on and walked around while listening to it and stuff like that.
Yeah. My only exposure to Todd Rundgren is I Want to Bang on the Drum All Day. So I had no idea what I was in for tonight.
Mine was Bat Out of Hell. Was like
you probably know a few tracks off of Something Anything. And you know fucking Why Can't We Be Friends? It's in Dumb and Dumber.
No, that's not Todd Rundgren. Oh, yeah, it is.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, you're right.
I know he's done a lot of production too, and I see his name around that, but I'm not familiar at all with his solo material.
Just to be explicitly clear, Smash Mouth also performed Why Can't We Be Friends?
Yep. Oh, that's right. No, not Why Can't We Be Friends? Can We Still Be Friends?
Can we still be friends?
It was Why Can't We Be
Why
Friends?
Can't We Be Friends?
Yeah.
They did a
not that song. Can We Still Be Friends? Different song.
No, they did Why Can't We Be Friends?
They did. Smash Mouth did Why Can't We Be Friends? Yes.
Which is a Todd
We're not
Rundgren
talking
song.
about
I
that song.
thought
That's
you
all that
said,
matters.
I'm all right, Spider.
Oh, I get what you're saying now. Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
My bad. I'm the asshole.
Wrong song.
It's
That's
okay.
my fault. I'm an idiot. I'm a fucking idiot. What
No,
do you
it's
want
my
from
fault.
me?
It's my fault. I'm the asshole.
Jesus. The hostility.
Jesus Christ. Christ almighty. Tyler Kent, thank you so much for talking shop about this fucking dumb record tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. What do you got cooking? What's cooking on the Tyler Kent factory or the GEPH starch mogul?
What's cooking on those heating elements over in the Shaw's meat department? Is it pig nipples?
Yes. We're not asking me, though.
GEPH has been pretty inactive due to the quarantine and stuff like that. We've got a single that we want to release later in the year, and possibly a live EP too. I'm kind of finishing up mixing that.
Nice.
And then I've just for myself, I've been for the first month or two of this quarantine thing, I was pretty solid at like getting something new recorded, every couple of days, and then that kind of teetered off just as I don't know, as it does, I guess. But I'm hoping to kind of get back to that material and kind of develop that into something to release myself, because it's been a while since I've released music just of my own, aside from singles here and there and stuff like that.
Awesome. Yeah, that track that you did with Deegan was sick.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was a blast.
That was the one I was the most pumped about. I was like, holy shit, Tyler and Deegan are paired. This is gonna be fucking awesome.
That was cool, and it kind of happened the way it sounds like it happened with a lot of people on that same compilation. Of like, there was a lot of like a very slow start.
Yep.
And a lot of just kind of like waiting and trying to sync up schedules and stuff like that. And then the first day he sent me something back, it was like pretty much just, I'm at work or working on this, straight till we're done with it. And yeah, he really just blew me away with what he came up with.
Yeah, seriously, you guys are, two of some, my favorite musicians in this stupid town. So good work.
Yeah, I was really looking forward to that one.
Christopher, got anything cooking?
Nah, everything's just fucking nonsense out there.
Yep.
Yeah, just same shit as last time. Black Lives Matter. Fuck the po.
Yep.
Yeah, and fuck that couple in St. Louis who fucking started waving guns around at peaceful protesters yesterday. I don't know if any of you have seen that, but there's like pictures and video of it. The dude has a fucking assault rifle, and the woman has a handgun, and she's waving it around with her finger on the trigger. Like it's a miracle that they didn't.
Insanity.
It's a miracle that they didn't kill anyone.
Yeah, that was the striking thing about that to me, was that it looks like she's never held a gun before. She's like kind of like hesitantly.
She's holding it like her fucking minivan keys. Like
yeah,
but
and then like you said, finger on the trigger, pointing at people,
yeah,
which
that's the thing that's
anybody
absolutely
who's
insane.
had any sort of like firearm training knows you don't do that unless you're gonna shoot.
Do not do that. Yeah.
Thank God no one got hurt, and we could, make jokes about it. Because it could have went a lot fucking differently.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
that's
I mean,
just
at least
the joy of living in this country.
Yeah, at least no one's dead, and we now have memes and can fucking point and laugh at those assholes, like the fucking cowardly sacks of shit that they are.
Did they get arrested? I'm assuming not.
No. It's in Missouri, man.
God
Yeah.
damn.
What are they gonna get arrested for?
Waving a gun around.
Yeah, no, that is technically it's illegal to point a gun into a group of people, but it's the whole thing about they were technically on their own property, and they could make the claim that they're defending, and they're both attorneys too, which is insane.
Yeah. So
What was
the whole thing.
what was the deal with like the protesters were there to confront the mayor?
Yeah, they were marching
that
by
right?
the house, and basically these people were eating dinner outside and felt threatened by the advancing mob going down the street, so they ran in and got their guns.
They were on their route.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Fun times.
Insanity. Good times. Jim, you got anything going on?
Ugh. I don't know anymore, man. I took 2 weeks off. I'm hopefully finishing the fucking studio so I can track something and not feel like useless. I have some drums I got to do for Patrick. He keeps asking me about them, and I keep going, they're coming, man. They're coming.
Yeah. Well, once that comes, I'll have some new music, but that's fine. Take your time. I'm just making my Wizard of True Star here at home on
Yeah.
my on the dole. Good shit. And I'm not going to plug anything either. Fuck it. Check out the other shows on the Zero Science Network,
Yeah, do that.
including Jukebox Zeros, the show that I do with Wills Martin, and Must Watch Movies, another film podcast that I do, which is a lot of fun. And also Clamshell Case Files, World of Commotion, which is the newish Disneyland podcast. No, there's a whole bunch of shit. Treasures aplenty.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So thanks again for tuning in to Old Men Yell at Cloud. We are finished yelling at the cloud. The cloud has taken enough for one night. Don't you think?
I think so.
All right. This is Patrick.
I'm Christopher.
I'm Jim, and we'll see you in hell.
Zero Science.
Hello, my name's Christopher. I'm something of a movie fanatic.
Hi, my name is Patrick, and I have a very short attention span.
In Must Watch Movies, a new podcast from the Zero Science Podcast Network, I'm going to try to put some culture into Patrick's trash brain.
In each installment, Christopher will choose a critically acclaimed film for me and my guest to watch for the very first time.
I'll open up each episode with why.